Hey, I'm Jamie for Guitarist magazine, and today we've got a real blast of lovely nostalgia here in the form of two USA built Epiphones. And I'm holding the all new USA made FT110 Frontier reissue, so a reissue of a late 50s model. We also have here a beautiful USA made Epiphone Casino, brand new, but looking as if it just came out of the box in the mid 60s. So we're going to look at some of the features of these guitars, and then we're going to hear the sounds, and you can check out whether you think they've nailed the spirit of those 60s originals. Okay, so let's start with a look at the FT110 Frontier. So this foot model was first made in 1942. It was originally square shouldered, then it went to being a round shouldered dreadnought and back to square shouldered again in the late 50s, which is the specification of model that this new USA reissue is kind of broadly based on. It's made in Gibson's specialist acoustic manufacturing centre in Montana. It's where they make their really high-end stuff, and although it says Epiphone, this is as high-end as any hand-built Gibson that you'll find around today. So let's have a quick whiz through the features. It's a little bit unusual in having a 25.5-inch scale, which is more like, I say, a Martin D28. A lot of Gibson's acoustic have the same scale length as the majority of their electrics, which was 24.75 inch. This one's got that Martin style longer scale length, which arguably gives it a little bit more ring, shimmer, depth, other things that you'd associate with a traditional sort of Martin style dreadnought. So down here we've got this beautiful cactus and lariat motif, tortoiseshell scratch guard. Definitely gives this plenty of visual charisma, as do these beautiful inlays here with a kind of sort of proprietary Epiphone design. Sitka spruce top, and then perhaps a surprise if you're not used to this model, maple back and sides, and it's actually beautifully figured as well. So you get all of the kind of that lovely kind of visual bling around the edge with a nice figured flamey edge. I don't know if you can see that there. Now, if you were thinking that maple means bright tone, you'd have to think again with this guitar. It's a really beautifully balanced, warm sounding instrument. Got a bone nut. That's about 43 millimeters, just shy of 43 millimeters wide. For reference, a classical guitar with the widest nut you'll typically play has a 50 millimeter wide nut. So it doesn't actually feel cramped. It is quite a lot. You know, it's not the widest nut that I've played, but it doesn't feel too cramped. We've got Goto made Kluson style tuners with the gold hardware there. Looks very classy. And rosewood fingerboard, of course, scalloped bracing. And although it looks like a vintage model, there are some concessions to modern use. There's an LR Bags VTC, which stands for volume, tone, compression, preamp and pickup in here, which means that if you can plug a jack in through the end pin here, and you can get a really high-end plugged in sound as well, which makes it very much ready for the modern stage. So let's have a listen to how it sounds. Okay, and as if by magic, here I am holding the Epiphone USA Casino. This is Epiphone's most famous electric model, arguably. It was introduced in 1961, and like the ES330 by Gibson, it's fully hollow, so no centre block. Another way it differs from an ES335, for example, is that the neck meets the body at the 16th, not the 19th fret. So overall, it feels a much more compact guitar, and without that centre block, and two nice, warm, fairly punchy P90s, it's got a real organic bloom to its tone. The model that we're looking at here today differs from the 61 in the respect that you've got these parallelogram inlays that came a little bit later, but it still has got the black P90 covers, which eventually morphed into silver ones in the later models from the later 60s. Unlike a 330, the burst goes all the way around the outline here, which made it a little bit different, and you've got that classic Epiphone logo there as well. It's a pretty simple guitar because it's obviously based on a very traditional vintage instrument. You know, trapeze tailpiece there, the four-piece control set there with tone and volume for each of the pickups. Three-way selector, nothing particularly complicated about that. Relatively short scale length. This one measures out at 24.5 inches. As opposed to the 24.75 that's usually quoted for Gibson guitars. Some people debate that, but it has a nice kind of loose, sort of very playable, slinky feel to it, probably as a result of that. Bound fingerboard, laminate top, maple, poplar maple, 3-ply there, and that's really about it. But what that doesn't convey, any of those specs, is the kind of gorgeous feel of this guitar, the nice traditional vintage sound. And if anyone ever tells you these things aren't versatile because they haven't got a centre block, you should think again, because you can use them for so many things and they always sound great. So let's have a hear of what this sounds like.